Welcome back to Let's Make a Game, a channel about making computer role-playing games using the free program Twine and the Sugarcube format for Twine. In this video, I would like to continue talking about my current project of trying to code a complete game in 30 days. It is day 29 of the 30-day challenge. Because I only make videos every 2 days, this is the last video within the period of the 30-day challenge. So I'm going to sum up and talk about my plans for the immediate future. Well, I did the minimum, which is I made a game in 30 days. It's uploaded. It's complete. As far as I can tell, it's free of bugs. Of course, there might be a bug that I haven't found, but I have play tested it quite thoroughly as one person working on their own can do. And I fixed everything that wasn't working that I found. So I've done the minimum that I set out to do, I think. The next bar that I wanted to clear was successfully emulating the sword and planet subgenre of science fiction. Obviously this is subjective, but I do think that I did that. The story seems to me to have a lot of the tropes of Sword and Planet. It doesn't seem to drift into being a different kind of science fiction. Obviously, when you're emulating a genre from the past, you pick and choose which bits of the past you want. There are bad attitudes that people writing in the 30s and earlier had that I didn't want to reproduce. But in terms of the things that I did want to reproduce, I think I reproduced them, with one exception. There is a major trope of this subgenre that I didn't get to add, and that is the trope of false gods. Often in these stories you have this group of people worshipping what they think is a god, but it's some kind of trick, and the hero reveals this to them. And you're probably familiar with that because that's one of the tropes that passed into general science fiction, and you see that a lot in other stories. I'm pretty sure Doctor Who has done that at least a couple of times, for example, and Doctor Who is definitely not Sword and Planet. Obviously, I realise it's not for me to say. Fundamentally, it's what other people think of it that's important, but as far as I can tell, it seems to have cleared that bar. The game is certainly much shorter than I thought it was and that I wanted it to be. When I was designing it, of course, I looked at all of the different branches, and so I got this impression of a much larger story because every time you run the story, you're going to skip more than you get to see. Some parts you might skip entirely. Some parts there might be sort of 3 choices and you'll see one of them. So I would warn people who are making their own games that that's a thing that might happen, that you will have this idea that your game is much bigger than it is, and then when you play test it, you'll go, oh, it's over, sort of thing, and you're quite surprised. So I don't think it's possible necessarily to make a big game in 30 days if you're making a choose-your-own-adventure style game, which is what I was doing. I would like the game to be longer. I'm planning to do another challenge starting next video, but once I finish with that, I plan to return to this game, and I plan to expand it. I have several ideas for things that could be done in more detail. One of them is the false gods subplot that I noted down at the start as one of the things that I wanted to have, but didn't get to add in. I would like to explore what happens after, if you successfully get through the whole thing, after you marry your true love. What tends to happen in these stories is that that's not the end of the story. It might be the end of the first novel in the series, but it's not the end of the whole thing. The true love tends to get kidnapped. I would like to expand the role of the Thunes, which is the pterodactyl-like animals. I only really got to briefly mention them, but I'd like them to be more of a plot element. So I'm thinking of having perhaps air pirates that trouble the character. But those things I will get to on the other side of the next challenge that I'm going to set myself, which we will talk about in the next video. So I will leave it there for now. I hope that was useful or interesting to at least some of you, and I hope you will tune in next time.